Okay, well, why is trauma a relevant and important conversation to have?
Today? Well, if you live in Alberta, it's snowing, and that's producing trauma. But it's really producing trauma on all of those people who have been following the COVID guidelines. And I think that that's probably going to be the most relevant form of trauma and the cause of the majority of anxiety and depression that we're going to see for the next number of years. Whenever we go through a major traumatic event, it often takes us between 5 and 10 years to recover psychologically. When we went through the fire in Fort McMurray, we're about 6 or 7 years out now, I think, and we're still dealing with mental health problems out of that community. The same is true of Slave Lake, although they're coming to the end of that term. If I look at my call log, the people who call my office, and I polled it to see what they're asking for, the majority of them are asking for assistance with anxiety and depression. And unfortunately, most of us these days think that what we need is a really rapid fix, when often some of the more natural solutions are not only better for us, but better for the family, better for the community at large, rather than, in many cases, self-medicating or medicating with, one of these miracle drugs that the doctors have given us. Did I answer your question?
You did.
Wow.
Thank you. Okay, Len, why does it take 5 to 10 years to collectively heal from trauma? Like, to me, that seems like a really long time.
I'm not sure, but when the Slave Lake fire occurred, I was driving into Slave Lake while everybody was evacuating, because I was going up to work with the wildfire teams. So I got up there the night of the evacuation. The effect of driving through flames and smoke to get into that community will never leave me. It's burned into my brain. And so if I didn't practice some form of self-care to help myself re-regulate, I'm sure that I would be hypervigilant for a long time, just concerned about every bit of smoke that I see. Let me tell you a story. I was driving into Slave Lake about a year ago, and off on the left side of the road, there was a smoke plume. Well, Slave Lake, I worked the Slave Lake fire too, and that smoke plume was right in an area that was burning when Slave Lake burned. And you can imagine what that did to me. My complete response was threat, trauma, heart rate up, blood pressure through the roof, just ready to fight, flight, or freeze. And that was 7 years later. So, one of the things that, because the family is a part of the title of this program, one of the things that is pretty important is that the whole area of developmental trauma, what happens to young kids, often stays with them for the rest of their lives. And that cat's going to eat you. He's going to grab you by the ear and throw you on the ground.